Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Michelle Cribbs, and I'm joined by my colleague, Guy Curtis. Together, we are going to bring you a 30-minute or so information session on parents and supporters as you support your student to start the college process or to consider Laurel Ridge Community College. Again, it is about 30 minutes, so it's going to be a high-level overview, but we will provide time at the end to answer any questions that you might have. And if questions are really specific, we will certainly make an appointment to meet with you one-on-one to give you that individual information that would be meaningful for you. So again, welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started, and just be sure to use that chat box on the lower menu of your screen if you want to type questions in the chat. I know sometimes you think of a question and you don't want to wait until the end of the presentation. So feel free to use that tool as we go. And again, my colleague Guy Curtis will be there to answer those questions, or again, we'll answer them out loud towards the end of the presentation. So what you need to know about, navigating the college process. Tonight's presentation, as I mentioned, is really a high-level overview just to create some awareness. And we will then tie that into some specifics that you can expect or anticipate should you select programs at Laurel Ridge Community College. So we know that this process starts in high school. We know some of that research and that consideration is starting, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. It really is different for each student when they begin that process. So just want to give you some information about kind of things to keep in mind as you navigate those years and those, information that you can kind of tuck into a folder or, into your mind looking forward. Talk a little bit about the college application process. Again, high level, just general colleges, as well as being specific with how you can apply to Laurel Ridge Community College. How can you afford college? That's a really big topic for a lot of students and their families. We want to share with you, again, some opportunities, some college lingo, and give you what those mean so that they can, bring to you a grounded sense of how you're going to navigate the financial piece of continuing your education and training after high school. How can you support your college student? We know that parents want to be there and give their students good information and good support, but how can you utilize college resources again to kind of be a partner going through those processes and some of those new concepts or tasks that you might encounter. And then we'll cover specific steps on what you would need to do to be a Laurel Ridge Community College student in multiple different program areas. And again, as I mentioned, we'll have some time at the end for Q&A. So steps to take in high school. So just helping students as they start to think about college or education and training beyond high school. What are some ways that you can start to explore opportunities in high school? Well, all of the high schools in our service region offer opportunities to take dual enrollment classes. That is actually college simultaneous with high school. So whether you do that on a public or private school campus that you attend, whether you take those classes as a homeschool student, we can help you kind of explore some of that content or some of that rigor if that is a good fit for you. But we also really encourage students to take other kinds of classes, whether it's in a high school at a CTE class, or we have classes on our college campus that really teach students specific skills or prepare them with specific knowledge that translate into entry level or some of the basic foundation courses in an industry. So we refer to those as credential courses. So maybe in healthcare, an example of a credential course is phlebotomy. In our IT area, a credential course would be CompTIA Fundamentals, A+, which are great certification classes if you want to go into that IT industry. So those classes are all accessible to students while they're still in high school, and it gives them an opportunity to get some clarity, explore those classes, take short-term classes or dual enrollment classes to either decide that yes, what they think is a good fit for them truly is, or maybe it reminds them or gives them insight that maybe not so much, but they've learned that information, they've engaged with that content or those skills, before they have to make that bigger decision of what to do next. So it really is a layering process. And then again, a great way to determine, whether a college or a program is a good fit for you is to attend information sessions and tours. So all colleges and universities, whether it's a 4-year university or a 2-year college, trade schools, professional development, or professional schools, will offer in-person information sessions. They've gotten really good at doing virtual information sessions like this evening. And then again, both in-person and virtual tours. And we offer all of those options for our students as well. We want you to engage in the content in a way that's accessible to you, like this evening in a virtual information session. But we also want you to come to campus. We want you to hear from our faculty and our instructors so that you have the general information as well as that program-specific information that you might be interested in. At the end of this evening's presentation, we'll share some dates for some upcoming information sessions if you'd like to attend, as well as some in-person open houses that we will be hosting this fall at all 3 campus locations. We also will be launching an online drone virtual tour in mid to late June, so that you can also see our campus in that capacity, if that's an easier way for you to see the campus before you make the trip in person. So the application process, how do students start college or post-high school training and education processes? So this is the traditional application process for colleges and universities. There's always an application. Many use a platform called the Common App. So if you want to apply to many of the in-state Virginia 4-year universities, such as George Mason or James Madison, you have the opportunity to complete one application, and then you can send that to multiple different universities. And that is actually nationwide. The deadlines do vary. So your student needs to be really attentive to whether they have a November deadline, a December deadline, or a January deadline. And some colleges have what we call rolling admissions. So Virginia community colleges, all 23 of us throughout the state, as well as Laurel Ridge Community College, have a rolling admissions application. That means you can do the application at any time and start classes when is best for you. The Laurel Ridge application is online and it is free, so it's very accessible. It'll take about 15 to 20 minutes to complete that online application. If you did take dual enrollment classes with the college while you were in high school, you may not need to reapply. So we would just want you to reach out to us and check first before you complete that application to make sure you don't already have an active application on file. So another common application or step when you are applying to a general 4-year college or university or another 2-year college option is that you have to determine where your skill set is so that you know what level of classes that you might best succeed in. So a lot of colleges and universities will require placement. That means they're just checking on where you are, taking an inventory. Many will use either high school transcripts, GED scores, SAT and ACT scores are becoming less required. Most schools right now are test optional until 2024. So students have the option to send those test scores, or they have the option to not send those test scores and they're not penalized. If students have taken college coursework in high school, they can use those classes to gain placement. And every college and university will have their own way of kind of doing the placement process. So once you get connected, there's always staff that you can call in the admissions office, or they'll have an academic advisor or a regional representative that you can connect with. So that's just high level general college placement. At Laurel Ridge, at our community colleges, if you are just graduating from high school or coming to us from high school, we will use your high school GPA and potential courses that you've taken recently, like if you've taken Algebra 2 or if you've not taken Algebra 2 yet. And we will determine what courses at the college level will best fit based on that information. If perhaps you are an adult student, then we have a slightly different way. We will send you a survey, just a series of questions, and you'll answer those questions, and that based on your answers, we will place you accordingly in those college level courses. So if you're ready for calculus, fantastic. You will be eligible to register for those. If you feel like you might need some refreshers before you jump into higher level math or English, we'll be happy to make sure that you get the coursework that's relevant to where you are in your educational journey. Orientation. So we want all students, regardless of where they go to college, to feel comfortable with the school that they've chosen. So every college and university will provide an opportunity for orientation. Some do in person, some of it's an afternoon or a day, some are doing them virtually now. Again, it really is up to that individual college or university, and they will be very connected with you to explain what their process is. If you've chosen to come to Laurel Ridge Community College, we want to assure you that we have very accessible orientation sessions. So we have a new on-demand platform that's called the Laurel Lead-In, and this orientation will launch in mid-June. Until then, we offer 2 to 3 virtual live orientation sessions a week. So you can register for those. It will be a similar experience as this evening. You would log into a Zoom link, and then we would present all that onboarding information to you in about a 45-minute virtual session. We will continue to offer those virtual live sessions even moving forward, even after our on-demand platform is launched, because we do know that some people just prefer to log in and see a live presentation and be able to engage in those questions and answers in real time. So both will be an opportunity for students to engage in that orientation process, so that when you start moving through that new student process, we want you to know that you have a care team behind you to make sure that you understand the steps, what to do next, what to submit, where to be, because we know there are, oftentimes, spaces in that process that you feel a little overwhelmed. So we'll be happy to take that step by step for you and help you navigate the enrollment or registration process for whichever program that you decide. So tips for enrolling. I guess one of the biggest things you need to consider is, when do you want to get started? Are you a student in high school that wants to start maybe a skilled trade while you're still in high school? Or do you want to start maybe a CNA class while you're in high school? So if you're interested in going into healthcare, you can start some of those, as I mentioned earlier, before you even graduate. But for some students, they just want to do high school and they're looking for opportunities at the college level post high school. So maybe you want to start in the summer, taking some of those preparation classes to make your course load lighter in future semesters. So if you want to start then, you'll just need to make sure you're registering by the summer registration date. Or if you plan to start in a more traditional time frame, which would be the fall semester after you graduate high school. I just mentioned those start dates because sometimes students don't realize they would have the opportunity to start again during high school or in that summer term before that fall semester. So just think about that. What's going to work best for you? How do you want to balance your coursework? And you will have support in making those decisions as well, with college staff and academic advisors to help you make that best decision. Talk with college staff and the advisors to help you learn all about different programs. So at Laurel Ridge Community College, we have a wealth of opportunities and programs. Our website, laurelridge.edu, is the best place to go and do some browsing. Look at our pathways. There are 12 different pathways, 11 specific and 1 general studies. And we also have different types of programs. So again, as I mentioned, we have short-term training programs and education that gives you professional skills and the opportunity to get right into a professional content area in 6 months or less. But we also have those longer-term programs that would take you maybe 2 or 3 years to finish as the foundation and building block to move on to a 4-year college or university to complete your bachelor's degree. We know that decision can, require a lot of conversation or more than what we had to offer in this 30-minute session. So just be reassured that we have college staff that can help you make that decision or help you understand on a deeper level what that means for you individually. You'll be matched with an enrollment services team, again, to help you with registration, an academic advisor who can help you semester by semester to make sure that you're on the right track, what program that you intend to complete, and how you can partner a lot of different programs at our college to give you the best preparation for whatever professional or industry career that you're interested in going into. And all colleges and universities have a wealth of programs. So whichever college you choose, whichever program you choose, just make sure you ask questions. What else would prepare me while I'm here? What are the other resources that I can utilize while I'm connected with the college to best prepare myself to be marketable, to be successful in that career? When you're thinking about enrolling in college or professional training programs, make sure you have your high school, or if you've taken other college coursework elsewhere, those transcripts handy. A lot of times those transcripts are submitted electronically now. So your high school will have an electronic transcript request or platform that they will use. Laurel Ridge has a platform called Parchment that we use both to receive and send transcripts. So if that is relevant to the program that you're in, or if you have college coursework from elsewhere, we want to make sure that you are including that. Very important, if you did take dual enrollment classes, high school classes in high school, and you're going on to a four-year college, make sure you submit both your high school transcript and whichever college your dual enrollment was affiliated with. So students in our service region would submit college transcripts from Laurel Ridge Community College, as well as whichever their base high school is. So it's really important you submit both so that you can get all the credit that you have earned. And last tip for when you enroll in any college program, whether it's that long-term transfer degree or whether it's a short-term skilled training program or professional development course, enroll sooner than later. It's always easier to make sure that you are reserved in a seat. You have opportunities to make sure that you can take care of any obstacles or bumps in the road. If you wait until the last minute, oftentimes our seats are filling up both in our credit classes for the times that are really convenient for students, as well as our professional training programs. Oftentimes in our health professions programs, those classes are filling 6 to 8 months out because the prior classes have filled up. So we're really moving students into those classes very quickly. So if you're thinking about it, make sure that you reach out and contact us and we have a dialogue so that we can help you understand the time frame. And it may seem like a long way away if you're registering 6 months out, but that space really gives you time to get some of the other parts of your routine or your life in place so that you can be a fully prepared and a fully engaged student while you're going through that class or program. Funding, as I mentioned earlier, how can we support you continue your education and training? So I just want to go over the lingo, what the difference between some of these words on the screen mean. Grants. There are incredible amounts of grants available, both at the national, federal, and state level for all kinds of programs. Grants are money that is provided to you at no cost and you don't have to pay it back. So that's, for instance, kind of an incentive to enroll in a program, because in the state of Virginia, we have industries that are in such need of professionals that the state is willing to support you. So whether that is in a healthcare program, an IT program, an early childhood program, a trade program, transportation and logistics, public safety, there's a lot of money, again, that students can receive and be eligible for these grants to take these programs. Loans. So if you don't qualify for a grant or you're taking enrolling in a program that doesn't apply to the grant funding, you may have to take out a loan to complete your education or training. Sometimes that feels heavy in the beginning, but just reassure yourself that if you are engaging in a program that's going to earn at the other side a higher level of living wage, the loans may not be as overwhelming. Now, again, you have to be very judicious with loans because, again, that comes with interest and you will have to pay them back. So you have to be very intentional, but we highly recommend that you explore all the other funding options before you jump on a student loan. So consider those grants. We have a very generous scholarship program at Laurel Ridge Community College. We have a very generous community that donates to our college. And on behalf of those donors, we share that money with our students. The scholarship application is free. It typically takes about 5 to 10 minutes to fill out. It is affiliated and connected with your student information when you create that account, when you do the application. We also have many other community scholarships that we can match you with. Our staff is committed to trying to find students when we know we have scholarships, because we want to support you in, participating in our programs. So just make sure that as you're, thinking about this funding piece of your education and training, that you're really maximizing the amount of opportunities you have to receive funds. The payment plan, again, for many of our programs and tuition, you have the opportunity to register for and enroll in a payment plan, which would break up, say you owe over the semester $1,200 for your classes. You could break those up into 2, 3, or 4 smaller payments. And again, this will be explained more in our new student orientation. Our financial aid team all have, are very willing to meet with you, to talk to you about different funding options. So our programs are funded in slightly different ways. So depending on which type of program that you choose to do, whether you're doing a transfer program and you're looking at traditional financial aid, or you're doing one of those short-term credential programs and are looking at our workforce-based financial funding. Both links are here on the screen. If you're not sure about which one applies to you, again, just follow up with us. We can help you one-on-one with that. Or feel free to reach out. Once you start a conversation, a dialogue with our college staff, they will be more than happy to help you navigate the back end piece. So we know you don't have to have it figured out in the front end. We will be happy to help you. When you talk to your academic advisor, they can help you decide what programs would be beneficial, and they can help direct you to the staff that will, match you with those funds. Our registration team, again, with our workforce solutions programs, is also incredibly supportive in making sure that you are, applying and making sure that you're filling out those applications to maximize the amount of support that you would have in taking or enrolling, registering for those specific programs as well. And again, I think the best way to try and, research is to go to our website, laurelridge.edu, look at our Explore Programs page, click on some of our pre-recorded information sessions. They're great ways to just immerse yourself in the content as you're making those decisions. Supporting your student. So again, as you're researching, looking at that content, how can you have live interaction? Know that we are available as college staff to also help and support that dialogue. What are some other ways that you can support your student while they're considering programs, or once they are college students? We know that's also a concern or a thought of many parents and supporters. I always encourage students to have a well-balanced schedule. Make sure that you understand what are your life responsibilities, your hobbies, your sports, your recreational activities, and then decide how much time you have for additional coursework or programs. We would not want students to overwhelm themselves. And I know it's very easy for students to, to try and take, 4 or 5 classes or engage in a full-time program as while they're trying to work full-time. So you really have to sit down, and maybe it seems old-fashioned, and get a calendar or get, a planner and pencil in the things that you have to do. You have to go to work, you have childcare, you have other responsibilities, and then really choose programs intentionally. They're going to work well with your schedule. Or if you're going to be able to give up some things for a while, for a short period of time, to take a program, to finish a full-time program, because the getting kind of peeling that back for a short time is going to be beneficial to commit to the education or training program so that you can get to that other side, earn that higher living wage. Those are really valuable practices to take inventory to make sure you're balancing your education and training with the other responsibilities that you have. Ask questions. Again, we know that students come with all different experiences and understandings. So if something doesn't make sense to you, just ask. We're happy to share that. We're in the industry of supporting your education. So we want you to understand what you are signing up for. With that, help your student find their go-to person. Their go-to person may be a faculty or an academic advisor, a registration team person. All divisions of our college are full of staff who want to answer questions and help mentor your student to learn how to advocate for themselves or learn how to navigate this independently. So just make sure that you know, as they're learning that skill, they have staff and support here at the college. There's additional partners in success. So maybe somebody that's not part of your student's daily life, but there's also staff at the college that regularly help our students. Campus police, again, additional faculty and student support, maybe in financial aid or in our student resource center. Career services, those are all additional services and ways that we support students throughout their entire program at the college. And then walk through campus, either a virtual tour as we're going to get ready to launch if you're not able to come to the campus physically, or schedule an appointment to have a tour, or spend some extra time when you come on campus for your academic advising appointment. Those are great ways to help your student feel comfortable, help you as a parent know what they're going to be experiencing as they go through their class schedule, as they're walking through their daily routine when they transition to coming to Laurel Ridge Community College. Or if they're going away to a school further away, it just gives you a visual or a comfortable level of knowledge what that campus environment is like. So next steps, we'll finish up the last couple of minutes of our presentation, just following up with how can you take those next steps. So if you are intending to apply to our certificate and our degree programs, these are programs that typically take a year to 2 years to complete. Oftentimes, these are programs that are the foundation to going on to a bachelor's degree or further at those four-year colleges and universities. These are the steps specific to you. Again, you'll do that free application online. There's no deadline. You'll want to complete the FAFSA. That's the free federal financial aid form and our Laurel Ridge scholarship application. You'll schedule an orientation. Again, that's either via Zoom, a live presentation like this evening, or we will be launching an on-demand orientation portal on June 13th, and we will have those links available once that portal goes live. After you attend orientation, you will have a one-on-one meeting with your academic advisor. That advisor is going to be your educational advocate throughout your entire program at Laurel Ridge. And during that first appointment, you'll have the opportunity to sign up for your classes. We also welcome you to come on campus in August for our new student welcome day. It's a great day to walk around, look where your classes are located, meet our staff. There's all kinds of workshops and sessions. You can go to the bookstore and get books. It's just really an opportunity to kind of have a fun experience and get ready for classes to start the following week. If you are a student that's interested in participating in our credential programs, these are typically shorter term workforce readiness programs, take less than 6 months to finish, to complete, to get you that skill and training you need to get into a job or a professional industry. We have a slightly different registration process and a slightly different funding option, but again, cannot reassure you enough that we will guide you through this if you're trying to figure out this decision. You would contact the registration team at workforce@laurelridge.edu, let them know you're interested, and they will reach back out and work with you one-on-one. They'll send you the registration forms that you would need to fill out for those programs. They will share the funding and scholarship opportunities. Maybe you're a student from a certain county and there's scholarship money that will help pay for that class. There are handbooks on our website for many of our credential programs. They give you really good information about what to expect when you are registered for these programs. And in the handbook, we'll also mention if you have any pre-class preps that you have to do, any background checks or equipment or supplies you might need. And then the final step would be to attend class on that evening, or class session, excuse me. We should specify evening. Many of them are offered on the days, are offered during days and weekends. So again, just really invite you to consider all program options at Laurel Ridge Community College. Use our website at laurelridge.edu to explore our programs. Click on what might seem interesting to you. Watch a virtual information session or a pre-recorded information session on a program that is interesting to you. If you have questions, I will put my information in the chat. You are welcome to reach out to me, and I can schedule a one-on-one appointment with myself or one of my colleagues to dive in deeper on as to what a program at the college would mean for you, or how can we customize that for you. And with that, we are just about at our 30-minute mark and want to make sure that we give you the opportunity to ask questions if you would like to do that. So first, I'm going to put my contact information in the chat. For reference. And then we will stop the recording so that you can ask questions without that being recorded. But thank you so much for joining us this evening. We hope we have been able to share some general college enrollment and step information, awareness, and just ways to support students as they start the college process, as well as some specific ways that you can enroll and register at all of our programs at Laurel Ridge Community College. So what can we clarify for you?